Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
Let's try that again. I was looking at my shirt.
Good corn chips, huh? Restart that. Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from MyWienerYourMouth.com.
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again.
Howdy, howdy.
Morning, boy.
Morning.
And hope you've been joining us each morning for Tobacco Advent this month. And we continue on.
That's right. More than halfway through.
That's amazing.
Make sure to watch today's Tobacco Advent. Just because we posted Markwood Ben's Breakfast Club today, we've also have posted the Tobacco Advent for the day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No?
Why are we doing that?
I don't know. Because we like it.
That's true. That is exactly why we're doing it.
To give back.
All right, so today we're going to smoke from Sutliff. Is it Barbados Plantation?
Barbados? That was no.
Barbados. Okay. It says sweet Barbados rum, smooth and rich. Well, that sounds all right. And I'm going to be smoking this in my 1950s era Missouri Meerschaum Churchwarden Cobwarden. This was a gift to me by Tom Provost, the diabetic man. Smoked this a couple times this last year. Some strong stuff, you think?
It will get you drunk if you put it in your mouth.
All right. Good thing we're smoking it instead. All right. So, I was going to tell you something. What was it?
I don't know. Me or them?
The Universal tell you something.
Universal we? You?
It'll have to come to me
Okay.
later.
So, I don't know if you guys noticed. I haven't talked about this yet. And
Woo! That is rummy.
I really, really hope that it's been taken care of by this point. But my websites were hacked recently. Which is pretty cool.
Well, no, wait a second. What do you mean that's pretty cool?
I've never had that happen. When you read about people's websites getting hacked and taken over, it's always banks, it's the NSA, it's FBI, it's always, Target. But who am I? Markwood Ben's Breakfast Club.com was hacked and replaced with clown something that said evil codes in elite speak. So it was the number 3 VIL.
It's basically a link farm. The guy dropped some pages onto all of Seth's websites, and those pages linked back to his place. It's really, I think it's designed to do two things. It's a stupid attempt at search engine optimization, because Google sees all these websites that theoretically have some credibility linking to this guy's websites. And those backlinks theoretically help to raise their rankings.
Are there links
Google.
on that?
Oh yeah, there are links on that.
I see 'em.
The other thing is, if you
They're
click
from
on
Malaysia.
if you click on those links, who knows what's going to happen? So
Yeah.
there may be that there's some viruses or other things on there. So
So if I gave you a virus,
not a good thing.
I apologize. It's still kind of cool. They're from Malaysia. That's all I know. So,
So how do you think they did that?
I don't know. Because my password hadn't changed. And typically what would happen if they had broken into my password is they would have changed it themselves. So I would have been denied access. And actually, there have been some stories of people that have gone in and have hacked like GoDaddy, actually at the root level, and have hacked there and taken over websites and blocked people out. There's one guy, news story, where they hacked his website at GoDaddy, and they used it as ransom for this guy to give them his Twitter username, because he had a username which is like
wanted.
hard, that they wanted, that's hard to come by. And so they hacked into GoDaddy, took over his websites, and used that and said, "Hey, give us your Twitter name, and we'll reset the passwords." And then with GoDaddy, the problem in this article he talks about is there's not enough authentication put into the system up front for it to be easy for you to prove that you are who you say you are, that you are the rightful owner.
I mean, part of the problem too is they ask you, the security questions. Mom's maiden name, your pet's name, your elementary school or high school. You know what? If I didn't know you, I could get most of that information from your Facebook account.
Yeah.
Just looking around, finding, maybe not you, but people you're friends with have shared your high school. We talk here about our grandkids' nicknames, mention our dog's name. So I know that Jandy and I, my bride, we've decided to make up fake answers to all the questions that we might be asked.
Yeah.
So that, okay, well, mom's maiden name, it's Jehoshaphat. And I guess I have to go change that now.
Ms. Jehoshaphat. Yeah, there are a couple things that you can do to keep yourself as far as passwords are concerned. First is don't make random number passwords. What's actually better to do as far as algorithm, mathematically, code breaking standpoint is to pick 5 words and make a mental picture. So like nil away for hot top hat time.
Right. But it need to be random,
nonsensical words,
and also
and
characters,
put them together.
Right? Some
alphabetic
characters.
But what ends up happening is, if someone's trying to break your code with a computer, they're going to start with 1 digit and do, A, B, C, D, all the way through Z, and then the numbers. And they go to 2 digits, and then 3 digits, and 4 digits. And so they're running through all of the possible scenarios. Well, when you get up to a series, if your password is 5 words, it's going to be 15 letters long, 15 to 20 letters long. That becomes an impossible number of encryptions.
They're going to move on, and
I'm going to link to. I'm going to remind myself. Link to there's a comic strip called XCKD, or it's XKCD. I can never remember. It's phenomenal. Check it out. Look at some of their other things, but in this one particular their episode, the guy that runs it or that does it is a huge nerd, and so a lot of his things are very nerdy, scientific, mathematic jokes that if you have no idea, you're not going to get it. And one of the things that he does is he talks about shows the comparison between a 5-digit or 8-digit with a bunch of capital letters and symbols and how many possible combinations it would take a computer to crack that versus a 5-word and how many possible combinations it would take to crack that. And it is astronomically higher in the number of days. Something like with the first one, it would take like 6 days to crack it at a normal computer encryption speed. The other one would take 344 years. So we're teaching ourselves. And the other thing he points out is the first one is hard to remember, easy to crack. The second one is easy to remember. You paint yourself a mental picture of nil away for top hat time. And
I wish you'd quit saying that.
I'm sorry.
You know that is the answer to my high school question.
Sorry. And then it's easy to remember, hard to guess. So the other thing I would recommend is use.
It's also a great Rhett and Link song on YouTube.
We'll link to that. He'll link to that. The other thing I recommend, if you have a problem remembering difficult passwords, use a program like LastPass or 1Password if you have a Mac or your phone. LastPass is great. It's totally free. It integrates in with your web browser. You can put all of your passwords. It will store all of your passwords.
It's owned by a guy in Malaysia.
That's right. It'll store your...
I wonder why that's free.
The Nigerian prince is bankrolling the whole thing. It'll store your passwords. It'll store your information, login, username. You can have it store your bank information if you want. And then to access that, just create for yourself one complicated password. That's the only password you need to remember. And what it does, it even gives you the option when you're putting a password into something, you can click a button and it'll create a randomized password for you that randomizes all of those numbers and letters and capitals and everything else, makes it a long password, and then it remembers that. So it becomes a database. So you
copy and paste it then when you need it?
It actually, as long as you're logged into your computer and have logged into the program, it'll automatically log you in if you want it to.
So it'll populate those fields.
That's right. So that way, all of your passwords are unique, because the other problem people run into is if they use the same password for everything, like most of us do, then as soon as a hacker gets your Google password, then they have your password for your bank account, and they have your password for your YouTube and everything else. And so that's the other problem. And hackers, people that are after your money, they know that, so they're going to attack your email first.
Oh, well, just think about it. If they only get your email,
that
how
has
many
all
things?
The other passwords.
How many of us are using Gmail,
Right.
which means everything that's Google related,
Right.
from pictures on
To YouTube,
Picasa to YouTube,
to your Google Plus
to
account,
Google Analytics, to AdWords, to all that stuff. If you're into, wow.
Well, and the other scary thing about it is if you use your Gmail, if they have full access to your email, almost every site that you go to has the option to reset your password to your email. So all they need is your email access. Even if your password is different, they can still reset it for most things.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Well,
use
all right.
LastPass. It's awesome.
All right, that's interesting. Now I'm paranoid.
All right.
Thanks, boy.
LastPass has phone apps too, so you can always access your passwords on the fly if you need to. Like if you need to log into your bank from your phone. They actually have a browser. Again, totally free. It's amazing that it's a free service. It's one of those things that I don't know where they make their money.
So I don't think I mentioned this, but the other day I visited a gentleman who's a friend of mine, a former bro worker, contacted me and said that he's got a friend who is a wood turner, and we've been invited to go see his shop. And then he contacted me and said, hey, you know, it's been several months since we talked about this. Oh, yeah, it has. He said, my friend's wife has passed away. Mm. So I think visiting his shop would be a great morale booster. And so then 2 more months passed, and we finally did it. So we went to see this guy. He's, I think, a little older than my dad. So let's say he's mid-80s. Really neat guy, really nice, very hospitable, brought us in to his house, and one of the things he was saying is we're looking around at some of the things that are throughout the house. He has a lot of artwork and statues and things like this, most of them from the Southwest. He used to live in Tucson. He then lived in Oregon, and then moved here. He's a home builder. He said, everything you see in this house that is turned was turned by me. Meaning, wow. Any bowl, any platter, any table leg, any, you name it, it was made by him. So it was so cool. He had one area of glass door cabinets that were lit with LED lighting that he had his best pieces. And one of the ones that was really neat was a pretty simple bowl. He handed it to me. And I posted a picture of this over on Instagram and asked me to look at it. Now, one of the things that turners do is they do something called a natural rim bowl, where you take a log and you position it on your lathe in such a way that when you get done turning a bowl, the rim of the bowl is the bark from the tree. And it was a really kind of simple, kind of a V-shaped, looked like a piece of pottery almost, but very simple by comparison to all the rest of the pieces that I saw. But none of the others had the natural rim on it, so I thought, well, maybe he's just practicing that style of turning.
Yeah.
And then I noticed something peculiar about it. This piece of wood had a branch growing out of what is the center of the bowl now. And at some time, either someone placed it there or a horse threw it there. There was a horseshoe that the tree had then grown around, and half of the horseshoe was out on the bark area, and half the bowl of the horseshoe was in the bowl. So the way he turned it, the inside of the bowl went right alongside the interior of the thing. the dude's got some cojones for turning it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And getting
exactly.
that close to this thing. But it was
say.
so cool. Had a great time touring a shop. A lot of nice tools. Not expensive tools. The one thing that impressed me most about this gentleman, and he's been very successful in business, and he had a nice home and nice stuff in his home. But in his shop, he is all about using his tools. He did not build himself a shrine and buy the most expensive of everything, which is part of the reason why he has some money now in his old age. But the tools he has are nice enough to get the job done, and he's really, really working hard at turning. So I took along with me a lathe tool that I purchased recently.
I would only eat Lucky Charms out of that bowl.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they are magically delicious too. This is a tool for those of you who are wood turners that I purchased. I'd wanted one for a while, and our local woodcraft store closed a year ago, and so I didn't get a chance to buy it. But when I was traveling, as I often do, I'll stop in at the local woodcraft or Rockler store or any other woodworking store and just check out what they have going on. And this happened to be in the clearance bin, and it was brand new. It just was overstock, I guess. But check this thing out. It's got a carbide cutter in the end, and it's set at an angle, and it's designed for roughing out the interior or exterior of a bowl. It could also be used on a spindle, but that's really not what this is for. This is made by the company, the Hunter Tool Company, and this is what they call their Hercules 3 or Hercules number 3. And it's just a massive piece of metal and a nice carbide cutter. So this will do there's two different methods of turning, approaching the wood. One is scraping,
One is sneaking.
one is shearing. Shearing will leave a nicer finish. Scraping is easy to learn. It can be difficult to master, actually. But there's a spot in between that's called shear scraping, where you can use a tool that's typically used for scraping, but you can get really nice results. And that's part of why this is angled the way it is, and you can actually use it up on its edge to get some really nice results. But I thought I'd share that with you because it's for me, it's a new acquisition, and it's a beautiful chisel. I took this with me to show him this, and he had similar tools as well. So it was fun to see, how he approaches his craft and the kind of things he's making. And
Why is the handle so stinking long?
well, you think
For a
about what
giant?
this might do. It's getting a lot of leverage out here, and you don't want the wood to get a mechanical advantage over you. So you don't extend this too far beyond the tool rest or any further than you have to.
Right.
So as you're hollowing out a bowl, you want to continually move your tool rest into the bowl so you have support for the tool. And on some of these, if you're getting very aggressive, you might even tuck this under your arm like this. Now, I don't tend to do that because I don't like to get that aggressive with it.
But if you're really wrestling with it,
Yeah, you can wrestle.
nice.
You can wrestle. So that's a neat thing I wanted to share. It's not exactly something that I'm suggesting that you all rush out and buy if you are a turner, but it's the latest turning tool that I've purchased, and I know a couple of you out there are turners as well.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
All right, so I want to share something.
I knew you would.
As the countdown to Christmas continues, Christmas is next week. It's next Thursday.
Are you making anything for Christmas?
I don't know.
I am.
Oh, are you? That's great. I don't know that
I'll
I
tell
am.
you guys about it later.
Yeah, I honestly, it's probably not. It's too late. It's too late. Actually, what I'm more planning for, my wife is turning 30, 4 days after Christmas, and so I'm trying to plan a birthday party for her. She wants a princess themed party, and so everybody's going to be dressed like a princess. Everybody. So working on planning.
I'm out of
that
town
more than
that
anything. I don't think so. So one of my favorite toys right now. One of the things that has really just benefited me the most, and it's something stupid. So be prepared. It's really dumb. Last year, or at some point, I showed you guys these amazing Panasonic headphones.
Earbuds.
Did you get some of these?
I did not.
What?
I need to get
A
some.
slacker.
I know.
These are my favorite earbuds. I own too many pairs of these, and will be purchasing some more because I've lost some.
You know,
they're about $8.
Christmas is coming up. That's probably a great Christmas gift.
Yep. Yep. So these are about $8 online with Amazon, free shipping. They're great. The sound quality is amazing. The only thing I wish they had was a microphone for using with Skype and FaceTime. But, they beat out sound quality and comfort-wise. They hands down beat out the $30 iPhone headphones. But sometimes it's not advantageous to wear earbuds. Sometimes you need something a little bit more subtle, something more portable. And so I fall asleep with earbuds in. But since I got the CPAP and I have this big old hose coming off my face, it's too much around your face when you're sleeping. And so I started looking for a different solution. And what I landed on is a Bluetooth headset. I use this thing every day, all the time, never for making phone calls. And so what I have found, I had to hunt out one that allows playback through your phone. My computer has Bluetooth. My tablet has Bluetooth. So in any of my devices, I can sync with this via Bluetooth and listen to whatever's playing, video, music, podcasts, anything. And so this is a Plantronics M165. I think it was $25, $30. Get on Amazon. This I'll wear at nighttime. It's got a rubber piece here that has a couple different ones for different size ears. It has a loop that goes around. I never use that. One thing I like about this one, I've had one of these in the past, different version. This one actually, when it's connected to any of my devices, I can see the battery life of this on my device, which is kind of cool. But what I've found is, at school, when I'm at work, there are times where I'm with students, but am not with them. So, they're doing other things. I'm able to listen to my podcast and still be working while they're, working on the computer. It's a lot less obvious than having my bright orange headphones in. The other time I found these incredibly useful is on my drive home and to school sometimes. I don't want to have earbuds in. That's too distracting when driving, but having one ear with audio isn't a big deal. You can still hear what's going on.
So what are you listening to?
Well, I'm listening to podcasts. One of the podcasts I listen to is a Rooster Teeth podcast, and they're a Red versus Blue is one of their shows. They do, it's a web show, web company. They do video game stuff primarily. So they play through Minecraft, and they play video games and have commentary. And they have several podcasts. And they don't always use child-friendly language. And so, it's a show that I enjoy listening to, but when I have Ender in the car, I don't want him listening to that. And so sometimes I'll play Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever other, CD I have and be listening to this while driving him around. It's also great for the grocery store if I'm shopping, just running in someplace, to not have wires to worry about. It has been great. I am having to charge it every day. It's got a 7-hour battery life, and I'm using those 7 hours just about every day. Sometimes the other time is sometimes at home, if I'm on my computer, I want to watch something. I want to watch, I'm watching Gotham, the Batman show, but Ender wants to watch Curious George. So I'll put Curious George on the TV. We'll have my computer playing Gotham, and I'm able to listen to it. Again, still having one ear free to hear what's going on.
It's really a great idea.
And it has been... I use this every single day. I absolutely love it.
I drive my bride crazy.
Never for talking.
Because I multitask when I'm relaxing. And so I'll have music playing, and I'll be listening to a podcast, perhaps, or I'm watching YouTube videos and the TV's on, and it drives her nuts that she's getting bombarded by all these sounds, all this noise, and I'm going back and forth to which thing I'm giving my attention to. You know, and with most of the stuff I'm watching or listening to or reading, I can rewind if something catches my ear and I want to go back to it. So to me, it doesn't bother me that I'm getting multiple signals at one time. And again, it's stuff that I'm doing while I'm doing something that's casual or relaxing. That's a great idea. You know, when you put the earbuds in, it kind of sends a signal out to the world that I'm
in my bubble, leave me alone.
Don't interrupt me. That's a good idea.
And with this, it's black. It's got, the smallest little bit of light on here. But, like when I'm at my desk at work with the kids are sitting all over here. They can't even see that I have anything in my ear.
Yeah, but you're over there going,
yeah, well, sometimes. Or like at lunch sometimes. I'm with my coworker, but we're working on different things independently. I sometimes like to watch Gotham or whatever when I'm at lunch, and that's not something that I want to take off and just be playing through the loudspeaker. But I also don't want to send the, screw off, I'm in my bubble message that the earbuds send. So I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's a common one, right? I've had those before.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. I found I
usually leave them in rental cars.
The first one, the thing you have to be careful with, the first one I had in my pants pocket and it went through the wash. So it died. So this is a replacement. That first one I found at Costco. I think at Costco it was $25. This is the Model 1 Up because it just had better reviews. And like I said, I like the fact that I can see on my phone the battery life of this sucker. I think it's $25, $30. I don't know.
All right. I need a link to that one too.
Yeah. We'll put it in that thing. With Amazon Prime, free shipping. So, all right, that's it. That's all I got. You?
Is that it?
That's it.
Gosh, that was fast.
It's been too long.
What do you think of the tobacco?
I like this tobacco.
You weren't
actually.
smoking it again.
I smoked quite a bit of it, actually. I was smoking it while you were showing off your Who's It.
So again, Barbados Plantation.
The rum
Sweet Barbados rum.
Wasn't as rummy.
Not once you got it going.
No.
The initial hit. The initial hit was absolutely there. It's mellowed out now.
Pretty good aromatic.
I was getting some gurgling, and I haven't gotten gurgling in a while. So maybe it's the fact that I'm drooling down this long stem. Who knows?
Yeah, you got to keep that spittle on lockdown.
Yeah, not bad tobacco at all.
How much does this pipe cool off the smoke? Does it? Does that distance? Is it cooler?
One of these days, we need to find that out.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It depends on the tobacco. It depends upon the frequency of the puffing. All that contributes to how hot something burns. And if it's so hot that it's uncomfortable, slow down your puffing. Maybe it's too moist. Let it dry out a little bit. Maybe it's too dry.
Yeah.
Moisten it a little bit. I mean,
we should do a side by side with several, because there's
a nose warmer versus this,
right? Well, in vaping, the knowledge is a wider drip tip, a wider suck hole will give you a hotter, more cloud vape, while a smaller or longer draw hole will give you a cooler vape and it'll also give you more flavor. So I'm curious if the same is true with...
I mean, to a degree it's true, period, because...
It's aerodynamics.
There are some people that complain about the open draw of a Missouri Meerschaum pipe, especially the ones that are intended to have a filter, but you pull the filter out.
Yeah.
They have a very open draw. I just pack the tobacco a little more firmly, and to me it's no worse than any other.
Yeah.
There are people that buy briar pipes and they bore them out so that they have a larger draw hole. There are some that, when they have them custom made, will request a particular diameter draw hole.
But that's because of that effect, not the smoke versus tobacco.
But if you have a pipe that has a small draw hole or a small hole in the tip, and you're really having the draw hard to get it to burn, you're going to get tongue bite.
Yeah.
You're just going to get it because it's smoke. When it does come through,
speeding up.
It'll be very intense.
Yeah.
So you want to find that balance to where you're getting a comfortable smoke. Okay. It's a good question. We should test that.
Little bonus for you at the end of today's episode.
All right.
You guys have a good week. Hope everything is going well.
Make it a great week. Keep watching Tobacco Advent.
Are you guys making anything for Christmas?
Ooh.
It is 8 days away. Good luck.
Good question. All right. See you later.
Bye.